At We Are Storytellers, we believe in God's story, as told through the Old and the New Testaments of the Bible. We also believe that our lives are a story that matters. When we begin to see the very real places where God's story and our stories intersect, we unlock wonder, worship, and a hope that communicates truly good news. Friends, we made it all the way to the end of the month, all the way to the end of Genesis, all the way through day 30. I am so proud of you, and I am so excited to jump into today's reading. All right, we made it. We're on the very last day, the very last chapter. This is Genesis chapter 50. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed the physicians in his service to embalm his father, Israel. So the physicians embalmed him, taking a full 40 days, for that was the time required for embalming. And the Egyptians mourned him 70 days. When the days of mourning had passed, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court, "If I have found favor in your eyes, speak to Pharaoh for me. Tell him, my father made me swear an oath and said, I am about to die. Bury me in the tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Now let me go up and bury my father. Then I will return." Pharaoh said, "Go up and bury your father, as he made you swear to do." So Joseph went up to bury his father. All Pharaoh's officials accompanied him, the dignitaries of his court and all the dignitaries of Egypt, besides all the members of Joseph's household and his brothers and those belonging to his father's household. Only their children and their flocks and herds were left in Goshen. Chariots and horsemen also went up with him. It was a very large company. When they reached the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan, they lamented loudly and bitterly, and there Joseph observed a 7-day period of mourning for his father. When the Canaanites who lived there saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, they said, "The Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning." That is why that place near the Jordan is called Abel Mizraim. So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them. They carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre, which Abraham had bought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, together with his brothers and all the others who had gone with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph, saying, "Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Joseph stayed in Egypt along with all his father's family. He lived 110 years and saw the 3rd generation of Ephraim's children. Also the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." And Jacob made the Israelites swear an oath and said, "God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place." So Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt. All right, here we are. We have concluded the book and our questions for today. Number 1, Who is it that died? Number 2, where did Joseph go to bury his father? And number 3, who asked for forgiveness? All right, next direction. What is it that stood out to you today? What in particular made you curious, made you feel like you need to ask some more questions, made you desire to do a little bit more study or research? Or what is it that sort of lifted off the page and into your spirit? What is God asking you to pay attention to today? And lastly, as we think about not only this chapter, but the whole of this book, what is it that God would like you to take away, to hold and treasure deep in your heart, to put into practice in your life? I have all kinds of thoughts just about the last maybe 3 days of reading. I've been thinking about this whole blessing of the younger over the older. You know, how Israel, Jacob, decided to do that opposite with Ephraim and Manasseh. And the idea of Jacob and Esau trading places. I've also been thinking about the way that that connects to God's ways. That culture and history wants to put the firstborn first with power and prestige and inheritance. But that's not God's way. He often brings the small, the quiet, the humble, the lesser, the second to the surface. I also was thinking about all the blessings in chapter 49, especially, where Jacob is blessing all of his 12 sons with so many different things according to who they are, their personality, their unique giftings. And I'm just thinking about blessings in general. What blessing might you receive if your parent gave you a blessing today? And then, what kind of blessing would you like to receive? It also stood out to me that when Dan was blessed, that there's this talk about him biting the heels like a serpent. And it just reminds me of Jesus' call for all of us as his disciples to be as innocent as doves and as cunning as serpents. And then I'm so interested in the way that Joseph praises God. He calls God his shepherd and his rock. God is the one who gave Joseph strength in the midst of slavery through his imprisonments and helped him into a position of great leadership. God definitely was his shepherd, his leader, his guide, the one who nurtured him and provided for him, and absolutely was his rock, his foundation. I'm so interested in the way that that links also to so many other pictures that we have of God throughout the rest of the Bible. And I can't wait for you to keep reading the Bible so that you will know and identify these kinds of things that run like ribbons or are woven throughout all the pages of Scripture as we really learn and glean and discern who it is that our God is. I hope that you have a wonderful week and a wonderful day. It'll be a little while, so hold tight before there are more readings, but fairly soon we will jump into the book of Exodus. Thanks so much for joining me.